Okay, now we're going to look at how to use 그렇지만 and 지만. So to say however or but, right? So 지만 especially, we can kind of tag on to the end of a verb to complete a sentence or to say blah, 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 but blah, blah, blah. Okay, so clear enough, right? We will see examples of this in a moment. All right, so first of all, looking maybe at 그렇지만. So in this dialogue.
네. 그렇지만 네, 여기 베티 씨 내일 시간 있어요? 미안해요. 내일은 바빠요. 그렇지만 토요일에는 시간이 있어요.
Okay. All right, so again the question in the first sentence.
베티 씨 내일 tomorrow 시간 time 있어요? Have?
Right. So someone is asking Betty, Betty, do you have time tomorrow? Answer?
미안해요. Sorry.
Yeah.
내일은 바빠요. Busy. 그렇지만, however, 그렇지만 토요일, Saturday, 토요일에는 시간이 있어요.
Okay.
Have time.
Right, so initially Betty says, I'm sorry, 미안해요. 내일은 바빠요. So Robert, here we have
네.
은.
네.
So coming after 내일.
네.
So I'm saying maybe tomorrow is busy, like that. So I'm really...
You're picking tomorrow out.
Okay. So emphasizing that, especially tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, so 내일은 바빠요.
네.
Okay. And then Betty says, however, 그렇지만
네.
on Saturday, again, I'm emphasizing
그렇죠.
Saturday, so I'm saying 토요일에는.
네, 네.
So this is interesting because we have the time marker, 에, and the topic marker,
네.
는.
네.
Okay.
So 는, topic marker, that's strange, guys. They can come after anything.
Right, they're unpredictable,
네,
right?
네.
So yeah, maybe in previous lessons we've just seen 저는 to talk about myself, and sometimes we omit it completely, but in this case, it's used to emphasize. So on Saturday, 토요일에는 시간이 있어요. So, however, on Saturday, I do have time, or I have time. Okay. Now, can we just omit these altogether?
아니요. 토요일 아니요. 그건 좀 이상해요.
It sounds strange.
네, 네.
Okay. So in this
Maybe
case,
if you pause there, 토요일 시간 있어요. Then okay.
like I'm thinking about it for a second.
네, 네,
Okay.
네.
So to emphasize
네.
that on Saturday I
네.
do have time, I should use
네.
토요일에는.
네.
Okay. Okay.
그리고 이제 그렇지만 대신에 하지만도 많이 써요.
하지만. Yeah, so 그렇지만 to mean however. We have 지만 here, so 하지만 can mean but or however as well.
However.
However.
그러니까
Okay.
그렇지만은 이제 4 syllables잖아요.
Yeah.
그러니까 사람들이 이거는 3 syllables잖아요.
하지만.
그래서 이거를 많이 써요. 하지만.
Okay.
그러니까 그렇지만 or 하지만 they start a new sentence.
Okay.
네.
Okay. So 하지만 because it's one syllable shorter,
네.
maybe it's popular.
네, 맞아요.
Saves a little bit of time.
네.
Okay, so
여기 H 있어요.
yeah.
여기 하지만.
So that's where it comes from.
네.
Okay, so the H from 그렇지만,
네.
we get 하지만. Okay.
그리고 여기 이거 하고 이렇게 그러면 이렇게.
Right.
그렇지만.
Right. For pronunciation, yeah, anytime a syllable ends in the H sound, it kind of adds that accent to the next one. So our JCH sound becomes a stronger CH, and the aspirated or the right. So you can feel the breath coming out of your mouth when you make the ch sound.
네.
Right?
그렇지만.
그렇지만. Okay.
이거는 이제 그래서 하지만.
하지만.
네, a little easier to say.
Yeah, a little easier.
네.
Okay. All right. So again, if I use 하지만, it should come at the front, right? At the first word of the sentence. Okay.
네, 네.
All right. So 하지만 토요일에는 시간이 있어요.
네,
Okay.
좋아요. 네.
So however, on Saturday I have time.
네.
Okay. That's our first dialogue.
Mhm.
Now down here we have some different examples. So first of all, Robert, what does this say?
저는 맥주는 좋아해요.
Okay.
저는 맥주, beer, 맥주는 좋아해요.
Okay.
근데
Yeah, so in this case we have 저는, so using 는 again, so emphasizing in this case beer.
네,
Right? So 안 좋아해요, I like.
네, 좋아해요.
Okay.
그렇지만 소주는 안 좋아해요.
Okay.
소주 안 좋아해요.
Is that true?
네,
Okay. Do you like beer though?
네,
Okay, so this is very accurate for your situation.
네.
So 저는 맥주는 좋아해요. I like beer, emphasizing beer.
네.
그렇지만.
그리고 여기 이제 피리어드 있어요.
Yeah.
그래서 이제 그렇지만
Okay.
피리어드 있으면 그렇지만.
Okay, so in this case, because it's a full sentence and starting a new sentence, we use 그렇지만.
네,
Okay, so however, I don't like soju.
그렇죠.
Okay, so 소주는 안 좋아해요.
네,
So emphasizing soju again with
네, 네.
the 는
네,
particle. Okay, and we've seen this in previous lessons. 안 좋아해요. So the an negating adverb, right? So I can change the meaning of 좋아해요 just with this one syllable. 안 좋아해요. I don't
좋아해요.
like. Okay. Now, so Robert, you've pointed out that
네.
there's a period here.
네,
So we could change this sentence
네,
using 지만 up here.
네.
So what does this sentence look like?
네. So 이거는 이제 two sentences인데 여긴 한 sentence에
Okay.
넣으려고 해요. 그러면 여기 그렇지만에 요것만
Okay.
지만. 그래서 right after verb stem 여기 좋아하다 to like. 그래서 좋아하 그다음에 지만.
Right.
네. 근데 여기 이제 no space.
No space.
Yeah.
Just continues.
Different from English, right?
Right. Right.
But 그렇지만 space 없어요.
Right. Yeah. So when we tag 지만
네.
to the end of a verb or
네.
to a verb stem, there's no space. It becomes part of that word, right?
네.
Okay. So the sentence would sound like.
맥주는 좋아하지만 소주는 안 좋아해요.
Right.
맥주는 좋아하지만 소주는 안 좋아해요.
Right. So instead of saying I like beer,
네.
however I don't like soju,
네.
just to have one sentence would be like I like beer, but I don't like soju.
그렇죠.
Okay.
그래서 맥주는 좋아하 그다음에
지만.
지만
Okay. Okay. Now we can look at another example down here.
네. 옷은 싸요. 가방은 비싸요.
Okay.
So we can do 옷은 비싸요. 하지만 그렇지만 가방은 비싸요.
Okay.
근데 you can have them in one sentence. So 옷은 싸다, cheap.
Cheap, yeah.
네, 그래서 지만, just 지만 after you delete 다.
Okay.
네.
Yeah, so similar to up here. In this case, I'm saying 옷은 싸요. So clothes are cheap, or the clothes are cheap. However, or actually there's no however here, but 가방은 비싸요. So the bag is expensive, or bags are expensive. So again, clothes are cheap, but bags are expensive.
네.
So to have this sentence as one, we would have 옷은 싸지만 가방은 비싸요.
Good, 좋아요. Good pronunciation.
Thank you very much. Okay. So 싸요 and 비싸요, those are very useful verbs
네,
or
네.
adjectives, sorry, in Korean. So
네.
싸요 would mean cheap.
cheap.
비싸요, just one syllable added. 비.
네.
비싸요 means expensive.
네, 네.
Okay. It's a little confusing too. The verb to buy sounds a lot like
네, 맞아요.
to say cheap, right?
네.
So 사다 and 사다.
사다, 싸다.
Okay.
About the same.
Yeah. After 4 years, it still sounds about the same too.
네,
So yeah. So 사다, this means to buy,
네,
and 사다 means cheap.
네.
So I can say to buy cheap clothes.
그러면 싼 옷은 사지만 이렇게 돼.
Okay. Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
근데 you can say, I'm buying clothes, but not bags. 그러면 옷은 사지만 가방은 안 사요.
Okay. Yeah. So same thing, except instead of cheap, 사지만, 사지만. Okay. All right. Let's go back up to our first conversation. Now, if instead of saying 그렇지만 here, how could we maybe make 내일 바빠요 and 토요일에는 시간이 있어요? How could we make one sentence out of that?
네, 좋아요. 그래서 바쁘다 is the
busy.
Yeah.
네.
그러니까 이렇게 해서 바쁘지만 내일은 바쁘지만.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we could have one sentence. We don't need 그러.
Right.
Right. So it just becomes 바쁘지만 토요일에는 시간이 있어요. So the rest of the sentence stays the same, right?
네.
And the initial question is, Betty, do you have time tomorrow? Now, how about just to say, I don't have time tomorrow, but...
내일은 시간이 없지만 토요일에는 시간이 있어요.
Okay. All right. So again, maybe from a previous lesson, students remember 있어요, the opposite of to have, 없어요.
네. So 없다.
없다.
네.
Right. So in this case, again, what do? We just cut off the da
네.
and we add 지만.
네.
Right.
없지만.
So I don't have. So 내일은 or 내일 시간 없지만 토요일에는 시간이 있어요.
네.
That sound good?
네.
Okay. All right. So this is a very, very useful
네.
way to speak Korean, or useful form to use in Korean, especially if you want to make longer sentences
네.
instead of having to say blah 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 period, however blah 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 period.
네.
You can tie different thoughts together.
네.
Yeah.
그래서 sorry but 그러면 미안하지만 blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's true.
미안하지만 blah blah blah.
Right. So even we could
네.
make one sentence out of this one as well. So instead of saying 미안해요 period 내일은 바빠요, I could say
미안하지만 내일은 바빠요.
right. So I'm sorry, but I'm busy tomorrow.
네, 네.
Okay. What do you think? Is it more common to hear a sentence like this where many periods break the sentences up, or
미안하지만 blah blah blah.
that's more natural?
네, 네.
Okay. Yeah, so it's important to be able to recognize this
네.
when you're trying to understand what someone is
네.
saying to you.
네.
Okay. Looks good.